So you can flip PCs until you buy a boat. But how long will it take to flip PCs until you buy a car? Let's find out. Hello everyone, we're back, and it's been over a month since we were in the last episode of PC flipping to buy a car. And some things happened. Everything slowed down basically when the tariffs came out and all of that. It became very difficult to sell anything. We did finally sell the Lenovo that was in the last video with the GTX 645 for $100, and that left us with a $150 pot. But the thing is, there was nothing to buy. $150 wasn't enough to build anything yet, and I just didn't find anything, and just been kind of sitting on that. So what I decided to do was go ahead and go back to the old way, which is flipping stuff, and at least that way we can kind of get some action going. So in case you missed it, I did buy the RX 580 Radeon card for $60. I sold it 2 days later for $85. So that added the $25. So then we're up to $175. Then I bought a GTX 1070 for $85, and then sold that a few days later for $120. So then we were up to $210. But again, nothing really to buy in that price range, and it still is not enough to build anything. I started thinking of which case I might want to get and stuff like that, but nothing really presented itself. So I did buy the Optiplex small form factor PC for $60. I don't really count that because I don't think I'm going to make any money on that. So it's kind of not part of the total here. But after that, I picked up the Shuttle PC. I just sold that. I picked it up for $30. I just sold that for $80. So that was $50 profit, and that took about 2.5 weeks. It took a while. And then also I bought the Apple Cinema display for $40. I sold that for $100. And if you're wondering, why are you buying Apple stuff? Well, I mean, I bought it for $40. I sold it for $100. So that's more profit than most of the PC flips that people do. And I don't have to do anything. You know, I just buy it and sell it. It's easy. I don't know why people spend, weeks building a computer and they only make $50, $60. You could just buy one thing, sell it, and make money. So that's what I had to do. I don't want to keep doing that. I wanted to get some sort of momentum going. So if you go through all of that math, I know it's a little confusing. The total that we have now in the pot is $320. After all of that, I did buy an iMac for $40. I expect to get $75 for it, but I'm not counting that yet because it's not sold. I didn't make a video about that because I already made a bunch of iMac videos and they're kind of boring. So basically $320 is our budget now to buy or build a computer. It'll probably be $350 by the time that iMac sells. So now we have to start planning what kind of PC do we want to build. And I think what I'm going to do first is I don't really want to buy all the AliExpress stuff because it's going to take too long for it to get here. What I'm going to do is just take a 4th or 6th gen sort of Office PC motherboard and recase it into a new case, with all the RGB and everything. So it'll look like a new computer, but actually the motherboard's going to be old. And we'll see how that does. I have not actually made a video about doing a case swap to a modern case with an older motherboard completely. I've done it before, but I haven't made an actual, video about it from beginning to end. So I think that I should do that first and then see what we can get for it. Do we make money? Is it a waste of time? Does it have to have RGB? I don't know. And then we'll go from there. I figure profit-wise, it's probably not going to be super profitable, but I think that I should just do it to say that I did it, make the video. It'll be a separate video from the series. And then when that sells, then we'll go ahead and try the old, the tried and true way of buying a new cheap motherboard from AliExpress and all that jazz. But everybody else does that. That's why I don't really like doing that. I mean, I don't want to build the same PC that everybody else does. It's just, you see it over and over and over again, and it gets really tiring. But yeah, so we're about 320, 350. We're getting there. It's taking a really long time. And once again, the goal is to make at least $1,000, hopefully $1,500. And then we're going to take all that cash and we're going to go buy a car. So we'll see you in the next episode. Now, I'm going to show you again a few cars that I found online locally as of early May 2025 and give you my thoughts on random used cars for sale that I've seen. So if you want to stick around and watch that part, thank you. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next episode. So I thought I would do something a little bit different and show you some alternative cars to the typical Honda and Toyota offering. And a Saturn, actually, people make fun of these cars, but a long, long time ago, many, many years ago, my car got stolen and somebody gave me a Saturn to use until I could get another car. And actually, it was a fine car. Nothing wrong with it. It was, cheap and didn't look good, but it gets you where you need to go. So if you just want a cheap car, point A to point B, I would look at the old Saturns, not the newer ones, but like 2001, 2003, something like that. And then we have the Chevy Aveo, which is actually the car that I have right now. And people don't know this, but the Chevy Aveo is actually made in Korea. It's a Kia Hyundai car. And they work just fine. They don't last that long. Like maybe 150, 160,000 miles, and then it's dead. But again, if you just need like for a student or a kid to get around, you can get some good deals on the Chevy Aveo. So it's something to look at. And then of course, any Kia Hyundai car is fine. And actually, people would come to the dealership and ask for Hondas and Toyotas. And for the same price, for $4,000 at the dealer, you could get either a Honda Civic with 150,000 miles or a Kia Hyundai car with 70,000 miles. And you might say, well, I'll take the Civic with a 150, but the thing is, the Civic would be beat by then, whereas the Kia and the Hyundais, 70,000 miles, they're basically rental cars. They would be super clean. Like the paint would be super clean, the inside would be super clean. And so people would buy those instead because they just look nicer. So it's just an example of, think outside of the box. It doesn't have to be a Honda, it doesn't have to be a Toyota, if you plan on upgrading within the next couple of years. And so these are choices that you have. And again, if you have any questions about cars, feel free to reach out. And we'll see what we end up with. We'll see you in the next video.